So this unit that you'll be going into in units 3 and 4, this first topic, is all about the maturity stage. So we can see this progression here that we've got in our graph. And throughout year 11, you would have looked at things like the startup stage and the growth stage, the different businesses that perhaps are in those stages, and the advantages and disadvantages, the challenges of those different stages. So we're now up to the maturity stage. The business syllabus is such that you progress through the business life cycle as you progress through the business course in high school. So for the maturity stage, businesses are well established and they have a dominant kind of presence in their industry. They're going to be pretty stable. People are probably going to know about them, and it's going to be the longest stage as well. So something like startup stage, for example, or the seed stage even, can be quite short if the business takes off really quickly. So if it's a really innovative kind of idea that the business creators have come up with, then that stage could be really short. The growth stage could be potentially a bit longer than that, but again, growth may occur quite quickly. And so maturity stage is logically that kind of stage that's going to be the longest because you are in that stable kind of state. And so profits should be stable, and business growth may continue a little bit, but it won't occur at the same rate as it did in the growth stage. The growth stage is when it's really shooting up, and maturity stage is going to plateau a little bit. Okay, so some challenges of the maturity stage. It sounds pretty good so far with all this idea of stability, but there are some challenges. So there are plenty of environmental factors that can impact a business. So while it may be stable, it can't rest on its laurels. There's going to be changes in the economy, society, and market conditions that will require it to keep changing to adapt to those. And part of that is also greater competition. So oftentimes you may have some kind of innovation, some kind of idea, but then emerging technologies and innovations in the industry are going to pop up, and it's going to force that mature business to keep on coming up with new ideas, keep on innovating, keep on adapting to those changes. And it's also going to potentially result in more competitors popping up as those opportunities arise, and the business is going to have to deal with that. They're going to have to position themselves as the company that is going to be able to retain existing customers rather than losing them to competitors. So we've got an example here of Apple. So Apple is a mature business because it is well established. It's at the top of its industry. We definitely know about it by name. So sales grew as a result of COVID-19, but it's definitely not at the same rate as when the business was in the growth stage. So again, we can see here that mature businesses can grow a little bit. They can have fluctuations depending on those things like the changes in the economy and society, but generally it's going to be a lot more stable, a lot more of a plateau compared to the previous growth stage when you shoot up. And then Apple also, in terms of competition, has increasing competition from Samsung, from Google, all the other different companies out there that have their own versions of what Apple produces. So Microsoft as well with their laptops and things like that. So Apple, as a result of all that competition and those changes, is constantly evolving. So they are always creating a new product. You think of the amount of product releases they have in terms of their iPhones and things like that. And they're also trying to develop new technologies as well as adopting those emerging technologies. So a lot of those big businesses that we think about are more than likely in that maturity stage. So any of those sort of fast food kind of outlets like McDonald's, tech companies like Apple, they tend to be in that maturity stage because they've been around for a while and they are quite stable, but they haven't reached post maturity yet, which is what you'll get to later on in year 12 when it comes to your external and your assignment before that as well.